Hey guys, I'm so glad you're here to help me transform my side walkway that has become completely overgrown. We're going to focus on 3 plants in this episode: Heuchera or corbels, perennial forget-me-nots, and annual impatiens. Let's start with those impatiens. Let's jump back in time just a little bit. I need some impatiens for an upcoming project I'm going to work on, the walkway. So I'm just going to use this cup of water, take cuttings, and very quickly these guys will develop roots and we can plant them and have a bunch of new free plants. And these guys too. I'm going to cut some of these guys. I'm just going to cut right above where I see some leaves, this leaf node junction. I'm going to take off these lower leaves and then stick this guy into the water. I just found some kind of teeny weeny little caterpillar. I'm not sure exactly what it is. I think it's best, since I don't know what it is, to relocate him. So according to Google Lens, he is a yellow striped armyworm. It is armyworm season, so that makes a lot of sense. So I will relocate him where the birds like to eat, and he could be a nice little snack. 2 cups, slightly different colored impatiens. Check back in a few days and see how many roots we have. As you guys will see soon, there was a reason for taking the time to take those cuttings from the impatiens. Now we're going to get our hands dirty. We're going to get busy here on this walkway. As you can see, it's still looking really rough, though I did remove a lot of the weeds on the right side. The bees, if I walk through here, I have to literally run because the carpenter bees this time of year get really aggressive. So it's time to get this walkway clear. It is raining. It is the perfect time to get in here and cut all of the flowering stalks off while the bees are hiding. And then after that, I will divide all of these Heuchera or corbels, relocate them in the backyard. And then I'm going to start working over on this area as well. And then we will plant the impatiens that we took cuttings and rooted in the walkway as well. Mostly trimmed. Now I'm going to work on dividing, because they are really coming way far out onto the walkway. I am actually making fast progress in the rain. Look at all of these plants. And there are still some that could be divided even further. So I'm trying to just keep a straight line of plants as I go. I was going to show you how quickly and aggressively the Heuchera or corbels multiply. Each little clump kind of grows off of each other. So right in through here, we're looking at least 3 plants. So I'm just taking off, like I'll take this one off, then I'll probably take this one off, then I'll take this one off. And that's kind of how I'm working it today. All right, you can actually see the other edge, the walkway now. I think I'm okay with the amount I'm leaving behind. Just need to get them cleaned up now, remove any damaged or diseased leaves. I'll leave fresh new growth. And I'm going to push all the soil back. We're going to put down some cypress mulch. And then we'll get to planting our impatiens. But I also have to figure out what am I going to do with all of these plants. I mean, these are expensive plants. If you went to the nursery to buy them, I did text my neighbor to see if she wants some for her backyard. But I will find somewhere in my backyard if not. I am going to relocate some of the forget-me-nots that are perennial here. And you can see we have baby Heucheras, baby corbels popping up everywhere. Not sure where I will put all of them just yet. But this is a start, right? It's a mess. Trying to be mindful of snakes and spiders as I go, because both would love to hide in this area. I know the chipmunks like to hide here too. But this is a great perennial plant here. Evergreen for me. It's beautiful. The pollinators absolutely love the flower stalks. But on a walkway, it's probably not the best choice. Here is a very cool bug. I'm not exactly sure what it is. It's a very pale greenish yellow, but I've definitely disturbed it. So corbels or heuchera are perennial for me, but they do go down to pretty low zone. They may not be evergreen in a much lower zone. The deer will eat them. It's not their preferred food, but when they're hungry, they will absolutely eat your corbel or heuchera. So I do have a few out front. They always get eaten throughout the summer. So I have a heavy production of them in the backyard. And you can see we have all of these. My neighbor does not want any. Now I could put them on my gardening freeboard for my neighborhood. They would be gone and probably by the end of the day. But first I want to see if I can find a place for them in the backyard, because it could be a really pretty full display. We are also going to work on these 2 containers today. They both have heuchera, corbel. I thought they had 2 different colors, but right now I'm only seeing the variegated. I do like this color. This one is my least favorite. It's basically just a green color, and it's very aggressive spreader by rhizome, and also it self-seeds like crazy. Another great thing about heuchera is I do not fertilize. I don't have to really do much. It is a native for me, and so it just kind of takes care of itself. The only thing I have to do is on this walkway, I have to divide it pretty much every year. It becomes a problem, and I have to do a major cutback. But other than that, super easy native plant that's beautiful, gives me that evergreen color. And I'll go show you some of my other, well, I have one right here. Look at this color. It's a great plant. It gets along with all kinds of other plants. I have some in my camellia containers. We'll go look at those before. So I asked my family if someone would be willing to go up and get me some more cypress mulch. And I don't think anybody wants to go out in the rain. But I do want to put a layer of cypress mulch all through here. But we may have to wait on that. I only have 2 bags yet left, and I still have to work on this project. Over here, I stopped right there in the raised bed area. But I also need probably about 2 or 3 bags to work on this side of the walkway. So I may just wait on this because there's no weeds. That's one benefit of the corbels being so big and lush, is that they blocked out the weed seeds from taking root. And there's still leaves from last fall acting as mulch. So I could technically just leave it like this, and we'll go ahead and plant our impatiens that we have cuttings of. But I do also want to interplant a bunch of the forget-me-nots because they're perennial as well, and they self-seed like crazy here also. As you can see, this is what they look like in the fall. And then in the early spring, they will bloom a beautiful array of different colors. So I think I've decided, my husband did offer to go get some mulch for me, but I think I've decided to go ahead and just see how things play out with the leaf mulch for now. I tried to remove like a bunch of the thick layers of leaves. You can see now we have at least 18 inches more walkway than we had before. And I think it's time to go plant our impatiens. So I haven't been taking the best care of the cuttings. I'm hoping for the best. Let's start with this batch. They look pretty healthy. All right, so we got roots. perfect. We'll just start with these guys. That should be plenty. I think the ones in this bin probably didn't fare as well because they were smaller and really not in the water properly. How's this basil? Basil's not rooted yet. I just need to get a smaller jar, I think, for these guys. But we'll start with these. So we have 10 impatient cuttings that rooted really well. And so now I'm just going to figure out if I want to, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I wanted to save a couple for this pot, but I could always just take more cuttings. So maybe, yeah, let me see where I want to put them, and then maybe save 2 for the containers. These are frost tender. They will die at the beginning of November or so once we get a hard frost. So it could be a little after November. A light frost, since they're up against the house, they may do okay. Now, I've got some of these cuttings from my little miniature rose. It's called Angel Wings. I think there's maybe 3, 4-ish. I'm going to put 1 or 2 in each of these containers as well. One of these. We're going to clean these pots up. There's some phlox in here. There's the Heuchera. I think that's about it right now, and we really need to add some color. I may find some pansies to throw in there as well. Those will last probably until we get a hard month of winter, like maybe January, late December. Those should still give us some color. Sometimes they'll last all winter. All right, they are planted and watered in. Even though it's raining, I did water them because when I dug down into the soil, it was really dry. We have been without rain for over a month. No significant rain at all. So this weekend, today is a rare treat as of recently. Now in July, some of June, we had tons and tons of rain and then nothing. So I need the rain, but it was still really dry down in the soil. So I'm going to work on cleaning up the Heuchera in these containers. First, I will remove the seed pods. You see? Little tiny microscopic seeds. See if I can break this open. It's kind of wet, so we'll just sprinkle these down in here. We're going to remove all the dead and damaged leaves, clean it up, put in a couple of these impatient cuttings and the miniature roses. All right, so this is done. I left the Heuchera. There's a nice little patch of woodland phlox that is so gorgeous. I just love it so much. There's 2 little seedlings of forget-me-nots right here, the perennial type. Just going to leave them there. And so we have space for our impatiens and the rose. So I removed 2 roses. You can see they developed some nice roots. So I've got 1 for this pot. And then I've got 1 that I'll put in that pot over there. I'm going to put this one kind of far back, tucked slightly behind the Heuchera. And then we have a space here in the middle for a pansy. And then this impatiens will fill in quickly. I think I'll take the time to go ahead and weed this green barrel planter while I'm at it, because there's so many weeds up here. I kind of use this as a makeshift propagation station because it stays so damp. You can see I've got a hydrangea that rooted really well, a couple more of those angel roses, and the rest look like weeds. So except for pansies, these containers are planted. They each have one of our impatient cuttings that were rooted. They each have a rooted miniature rose. I'm going to put the pansy right here in the center. They each have a large amount of the woodland phlox and the same Heuchera. They don't look that pretty right now, but maybe in like 6 weeks, come back. I think it'll look nice right before our first frost, of course, and then this guy will be taken out. Pansy will stay, rose will stay. These guys are perennial. They stay evergreen here, both. So it'll be pretty, even with just a punch of color from the pansy. So now I'm going to go up and down this walkway on this side, look for anything I want to salvage. Of course, Mr. Tonto. Maybe the clover. maybe the thyme. I will salvage the perennial forget-me-not. This is a good size one. I may even salvage the moss, which I love to have moss in my backyard, and or growing between the cracks of the bricks. I do have some lugwort growing between the cracks now. I do not mind that one bit. We have a huge patch of it, but I think for time's sake I will be just digging that up. We already have a lot of it anyway. But definitely that nice little hunk of moss could be useful. Good stopping point for the night. I did interplant some of the forget-me-not. We will see them come alive very late winter, early spring. Tomorrow I will pick back up. Major difference, so. It is the next morning. The rain is gone, the skies are clear, and I've been down here on my hands and knees pulling the weeds from between the fence post. And I am slowly working my way, filling up my containers with some of this soil because I want to level it. I want to make it all flush because this area has flooded before when we get a lot of heavy rain. So I kind of want it to drain more that way into the raised bed area. And this has been a slow project over the last several years where I have gradually tried to flatten this area more and more so that it is flush or even slanted downward towards the raised bed area. It used to be humped up quite a bit on this side. So we're going to do a little bit more of that. I'm going to put down cardboard, and then we're going to put down our mulch. Still got a lot of plants to move though before we work down on this section. And I come up with an idea. I thought about it overnight. So I'm thinking I don't want to wait for the little tiny impatient cutting that I put in yesterday. I've got a couple of these here and there that are already full and blooming, and I'm just going to put one in the front of each pot. And then, you know, when it gets colder and these guys are on the verge of dying, we'll put in viola or pansy. And then, yeah, these guys are looking rough. We're going to have to water them today. These little impatiens. Remember, they have a tiny, tiny root system. So definitely I will need to water them well for many days. And you can see the money plants are in there as well. But we will not have flowers from them if they take to this transplant, which they're so forgiving. They will do fine until next spring. And this is the method, the cardboard method. I use it for almost every project. So I'm pulling out the most aggressive weeds, putting down the cardboard with no tape, no stickers, plain cardboard, wetting it well. Then we're going to put our no float cypress mulch. Remember, this area floods sometimes. We don't want the mulch washing away. Plus, the slugs hate it, and it seems like other bugs hate the cypress as well. And this is how quickly you can transform a space, which I always am amazed at the power of cardboard and mulch. Right, Tonto? You're not amazed? No? Okay. Poor buddy. Alright, I'm trying to tackle the giant thyme disaster. I wish I could grow thyme and it didn't take over everything and become so invasive. I'm going to try to keep pulling. I'm afraid if I just bury it under cardboard, it will find a way to recover. This is all temporary here. Just holding down the mulch and the cardboard. But these containers are ready for about 3 to 4 inches of potting mix. Maybe a little compost, slow release fertilizer. And then I will be planting something in there. I'm thinking maybe spinach in these smaller containers. But they won't be here. I will relocate them. Now, I need to go find another impatiens for this container. Then I think I'm going to be really happy to go ahead and put that one in the container. I moved the lights to the walkway. They were hidden before because they were buried over on this side underneath all of the corbels. Alright, we're in the backyard by the fire pit area, and I think I found a perfect match. So these two are more of a neon, kind of bright pink. This one seems to match the one in the container. You can see that's the one I brought with me. So I'm going to dig that one up and take it. I think that looks cute for now till we cool off. And then I will replace the Impatiens. I think that looks cute. It'll look better tomorrow though. And here we go. A nice walkable walkway, free of weeds. Looks fairly nice now that we've got some color here and there. And I think these Impatiens are going to grow really well. We did get rain again last night, which was wonderful. There's one last thing I want to do on this walkway, and that is to utilize this fence. I will be probably starting at about right here. I have pea seeds soaking. I'm going to use this fence as a trellis, and I've done that before with cucumber and beans. It works great. I will be puncturing through the cardboard, putting down some rich soil, planting my pea seed, and then covering it with 1/2 inch soil. And then we will have peas growing all along the trellis. I think that'll be so nice. So overall, I'm happy this project is done. Looks great. Feels so much nicer to walk through here and not have half of the walkway covered with the Heuchera, and or there were so many weeds over here, it was ridiculous. And now it's just nice and calm and peaceful, and a source of trellising for our peas. Alright guys, I hope you're having a wonderful week, and I will see you next time. Bye guys.